Well, a very good evening to you, and you're just in time for the trending news here on Lookuptv on a day that the bipartisan talks between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio La Umoja have started. Or rather, the two sides have met today just to deliberate on how they will be holding the talks again today. As Kenyans continue to struggle with the high cost of living, public officers will now get salary increments of up to 7 to 10%. That is, of course, not including the president and his deputy, because they said they do not need those particular increments. But for the rest of the public officers, they'll be smiling all the way to the bank as the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, of course, increases their salaries by 7 to 10%. Our question is, are those increments justified? Those are our sentiments, or rather, that particular announcement was made by the chairperson of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, Lynn Mengich, today at the Norfolk Hotel. Now, that and many more stories. Remember, you can watch this bulletin live across all our social media platforms at Lookuptv on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We kickstart our bulletin with matters by partisan talks, and the national dialogue teams from Kenya Kwanza and Azimio La Umoja have today begun the talks at the Bomas of Kenya here in the capital, Nairobi. Azimio faction, led by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, stated that they will follow the rule of law, update Kenyans on the talks, and seek solutions to challenges facing Kenyans. The Kenya Kwanza side promised to tackle issues affecting Kenyans first and have a fair dialogue.
With some amendments as we go forward, particularly on the issue of the quorum and other issues. And so there are matters that will need consultation in the next 1 or 2 days. We think that the technical teams should sit by Friday and generate the necessary documents so that on Monday we get moving. We realize that time is extremely of the essence, and no leader here, I think, has taken it for granted that they are just here. We have, I think, even at this initial sitting, had a demonstration of very good faith, and a meeting of the minds. And so one of the things we are saying is the committee members will not go out there over the weekend.
Now, moving forward, President William RUTO is today concluding his 5-day tour in the Mount Kenya region, saying his government is committed to serving all Kenyans. Early Wednesday, RUTO commissioned the Narumoru Level 4 Hospital in Kieni, Nyeri County. The president is currently in Kiambu, presiding over the groundbreaking of Karimenu 2 water supply in Ngoigwa.
Mimi nimewaambia ya kwamba unajua wamezoea tabia mbaya. Wanalete fujo ati ndio wapate kitu. Walilete fujo kwa Moi, wakapatiwa cooperation. Wakakuja wakasumbua mzee wetu Kibaki mpaka wakawapatia nusu mkate. Wamekuja wakazungusha Uhuru mpaka wakaenda na handshake. Mimi nawatangazia mapema mchana, hii ya hasla hii, hiyo wasahau. Kwa hii serikali hakuna handshake. Hii serikali hakuna nusu mkate. Kama kuna kazi imebaki, ni kazi ya hawa vijana, ndio tuwafanyie kazi. Si ndio? Si nyinyi kama wananchi mlimaliza kazi ya viongozi? Si tarehe 9 mlienda kupiga foleni, mkachagua MCA, mkachagua wabunge, gavana, rais, mkamaliza. Kuna yenye mlibakisha? Si mlimaliza siku moja hiyo kazi yote? Sasa kazi ya viongozi wananchi walimaliza. Hakuna tena mjadala itafanyika ati kiongozi fulani apate chochote. Ile mazungumzo iko ni vile vijana hawa tuwapangia ajira, vile mkulima mazao yake itapata soko, vile Kenya tutazalisha uchumi, vile tutafukuza umaskini, vile tutashughulika na matibabu ya wananchi, Kenya ibadilike. Ama namna gani?
Na mimi rais amenipatia kazi ya kutosha. Unajua yeye alikuwa amekatazwa kufanya kazi. Sasa yeye amenipatia kazi, saa nyingine hata ninalemewa. Mtaendelea kuniombea?
Wewe umeahidi wa Kenya utafanya kazi. Wale wengine wameamua ni maandamano. Lakini sasa tunataka kujua ni kelele gani itashinda ile nyingine. Manake kuna kelele ya maandamano na kelele ya maendeleo. Wewe umeamua kelele itasikika kwenye mtu ya wheelbarrow akikologa akijenga nyumba ya housing. Umeamua tutasikia kelele ya mkulima na ng'ombe na doo maziwa ikianguka. Umeamua tutasikia kelele ya matinga ikilima barabara. Na hiyo ndio kelele wananchi wanataka kusikia. Unasema hustaki mwananchi atembee kilomita 30 kuja kutafuta huduma kwa county hospitals, manake utatuwekea watu wa kuja mashinani. Na hiyo
Now, moving forward, the salaries of President William RUTO and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua will not be reviewed. This is according to SRC chairperson Aline Mengich, who has today announced the scrapping of various allowances, including the retreat and sitting allowances for institutional internal committees. In the latest allocations by the SRC, the teaching fraternity are set to be the biggest winners after being allocated 44% of the 21.7 billion given to the commission, amounting to 9.5 billion shillings.
Average increase is 7 to 10% over a 2-year period, inclusive of the existing notch increase, which averages 3% annually. 3. Progressive harmonization of remuneration structures to achieve equity and fairness, thus adjustment of remuneration structures that are below the 50th percentile market positioning, while freezing salary structures that are above the 50th percentile. 4. Where the salary structures are retained or frozen, the notch increase will continue as budgeted up to the maximum salary point. So there is a review for state officers as well. The president and the deputy president, their salaries have been retained from where they were previously. So the executive in the state officers in the executive will be allocated 126 million, which is 0.6% of the total allocation. Parliament state officers is 78 million, which is 0.4% of the total allocation. Judiciary state officers is 305 million, which is 1.4% of the allocation. County state officers is 408 million, which is 1.9%. Teaching service is 9.5 billion, which is 44.2% of the total allocation. The civil service is 1.8 billion, which is 8.5%. The county government is 4 billion, which is 18.8%.
Of course, that is a story that we're following up for you, and we'll be preparing you, of course, full story regarding those particular increments and now what it means to the common man. Now, 5 people are nursing serious injuries at Mama Lucy Hospital after the shooting that took place at Dandora Total Railway Cross between the police and alleged robbers. Witnesses now claim that there was no action that warranted the shooting since there was no robbery witnessed. On the contrary, Police Commander of Kamkunji Sub-County Francis Kamau denied the claims, saying that the police were on patrol when they noticed a robbery in progress, and when they asked the 3 suspects to surrender, they pulled out their triggers, leading to an exchange of fire.
Leo tumeshuhudia kitendo yenye hatujai fikiria tunaweza shuhudia. Askari ambaye hatujui nini mbaya na yeye, ama ni mwenda wazimu ama akona namna gani. Kwa sababu leo amefuata mtu akisema, akifikiria ama akishuku ni mwizi. Ambaye si mwizi, tunamjua vizuri, ni mtu wa bodaboda kama wale wengine. Na wakati alikuja mahali alimpata, akamfetulia risasi, akamuumiza kichwa, akapiga tena mwanamke mwingine hapo kidogo mwenye alikuwa anaangalia, akampiga tumbo. Tena akapiga jamaa mwingine wa pikipiki mguu. Pia kuna mwingine alichomwa na risasi. Yaani alipiga tu holela holela. So tukaenda mpaka Mama Lucy Hospital. Lakini wakubwa wamekuja wa polisi. Tukainsist lazima huyu mtu akaweza atibiwe. Hiyo ni emergency directly.
Mama Lucy tumeacha watu 5. Tumeacha mama mmoja na wazee 4. Mama amepatikana risasi akienda kuingia gari. Nikampata. Kazini yangu amepatwa kama amekaa kwa duthi akigojea mteja. Nimempata. Tungeobaki haki yao itendeke.
Leo kitu kama saa 11 hivi ya mchana, askari yetu ambaye huwa ni undercover police officers wakiwa doria ile ya kuangalia usalama walipata distress call kuwa kuna watu wanaibiwa, na immediately wakateka action ya kukimbia penye kuangalia ni kitu gani watu wanafanya nini, na wakapata kuwa kuna watu walikuwa naibiwa simu na vijana 3. Immediately wakachukua action, lakini katika ile hali ya kutaka kuchallenge hao ndio wasimame, mmoja wao akatoa bunduki, ikalazimisha askari wetu kutoa bunduki na kupiga mmoja wao, lakini unfortunately wakati hiyo commotion yao na wengine walikuwa napiga risasi zao, ikawa kuna exchange ilitokea between askari na hao magaidi.
Kakamega County Health Ministry has launched a training room for maternal and newborns with health complications. The facility within Kakamega Referral Hospital was officially launched by Professor Janet Kasili, the First Lady of Kakamega County. Kasili expressed concern over the high number of mothers losing their lives due to lack of timely health care during the delivery.
Yes, this is Mother Valentine.
The hub will not only be used to mentor service providers in skills, but also serve as a space for temporary or pre-arranged meetings and discussions of group assignments. It will also provide an opportunity for mentoring and supporting through sharing of experiences and expertise among our service providers. I encourage our learning institutions like Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology and the KMTC to take advantage of this facility and ensure all our students are exposed to skills in preparation to handling the human subjects. Cervical cancer is increasingly becoming a major health burden amongst our girls and mothers. As a strategy in prevention, I have committed to advocate for the increased uptake of cervical cancer screening and HPV vaccination amongst our mothers and girls in Kakamega County. To support me in this endeavor, Matibabu Foundation, through the Africa Cancer Foundation and the Lake Region Economic Bloc, have supported us, my initiative, with the medical scraps that I'm distributing today. Globally, we lose over 500,000 women during pregnancy-related conditions annually. In Kakamega County last year, we also lost a number of mothers due to pregnancy-related complications, and our hearts go out to all the affected families. It is, however, important to note that nearly all of those life-threatening conditions can be addressed effectively with safe, low-technology interventions by skilled providers at all levels of care.
On to environmental matters, and the National Alliance of Community Forest Associations, that is NACOFA, has issued a warning on a looming shortage of tree seedlings due to the recent ban on the use of plastic seedling potting bags by NEMA. Now, the farmers, during a review of the ban, noted that it would have negative effects on the plan by the government to plant 15 billion seedlings by 2030. Speaking in Naivasha after a consultative meeting, NACOFA Chair Jared Ngatia said that the ban would lead to an acute shortage of the potting bags.
Some of them have, some of the sawmillers are local, and they had even got loan banks, and many jobs were lost. The lifting was done, yes, also with the same, perhaps the same mistake. Proper public participation, whereby we are going to address the issues of restoration, involving of community forest associations, so that we are able to raise enough seedlings at the right time and knowing where and when to replace those trees.
We don't have the capacity to plant 15 billion trees because we don't have the land, and where is it going to be planted? We don't even have seedlings. I think that in this country we produce between 50 and 100 million seedlings per year. So how many years to reach a billion? Let us say we produce 100 million. It will take 10 years. Is it 10 years? Yeah, to reach 1 billion. I think that the government should engage us. We're the people on the land, where the people who have got capacity to produce seedlings. The government should really engage us. And then it's the government who announced that they want to do 15 billion. Where did they get that figure if they did not engage the people who have got tree seedlings?
Tutaungana na serikali kuhakikisha kwamba sehemu zile ambazo miti zimefunwa tutaotesha miti, tutahakikisha kwamba tutaungana na serikali target ile ambao wameweka kuotesha zile miti, tutahakikisha kwamba miche zimepatikana, tutahakikisha kwamba tumeungana na Kenya Forest Service.
On to matters of sports, and All Saints Embu High School Rugby 15's team are targeting to win the rugby title in the East African Secondary School Games that will be held in Huye in Rwanda. Now, according to the players, the team has been practicing in high altitude areas in readiness for the competition. All Saints Embu High School finished in second place in the national levels that were held in Eldoret behind Butula Boys High School.
East Africa. Tushinde tuende more than East Africa. Alafu the boys wako physically fit vile mwalimu alisema. Kila kitu iko sawa. Tuna expect kupatana nao ya challenge maybe in Uganda. Juu pia wako strong. Wase walianza rugby kitambo ilianza maybe pia walianza kitambo. Lakini pia sisi tutasema tuko mbaya. Pia sisi tuko sawa juu tulianza hii rugby tukiwa watoto. Na tunaamini tutashinda.
Our boys are physically fit. We have done many training sessions as we are preparing them for the East African Games. Since most of these players, by the way, are Form 1s, Form 2s and Form 3s, so this was our first time to try for Rugby 15s, and by the grace of God, they've given us a chance to appear in the East African for the first time.
Last couple of weeks since we came in through the nationals, we've been preparing in terms of making sure our boys have a change of diet, in terms of gymming and work as well, in terms of working out their bulk and trying to bulk them up a little bit. We know we're going to be playing with East Africa's giants within this region, within this competition, so we need to be a little bit much more prepared for them. So from high altitude training, that's one of the things we've been doing. We make sure we chopper laps with them up the hill and down. Of course, Embu is a fantastic environment for rugby and for high altitude training as well. The rest is just to do with our coach.
That is all that we had for you in this particular hour, but remember, like I said, we'll be following up various stories for you, including the bipartisan talks ongoing at the Bomas of Kenya here in the capital, Nairobi, the increment of salaries to state officers, excluding the president and his deputy, among other stories across the country, which includes, by the way, the ongoing Finland education saga in Uasin Gishu County, as the students and the parents who had paid up for that particular program are demanding their money back from the leaders, including former Governor Jackson Managan, the current Governor Jonathan B. Chelilim, and his deputy engineer John Barrot. Until then, do yourself a lovely evening, and like always, God bless.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations.